like museums, but if you're going to go to Minneapolis, you ought to go to the Mall of America. And so we went to the Mall of America, and I hadn't been there since 1992-93 when my little kiddo was in a stroller. And look at this cool wall. Now, I do like the climbing wall. It is just a work of art in itself. But then, of course, it is an amusement park in the center of the mall, and they had the splattle machine where people would ride up and kind of go boingity, boingity, boingity. And, well, I think splattle might have a reason other than people going splat, but maybe a little up-checking. At any rate, it only held my attention for a very brief time. Yeah, so what? It was when I looked above me that I noticed a roller coaster. I believe that was there in the early days. I kind of remember this area had Legoland in it back then. At any rate, I am getting a little older and not into those fancy rides. This one looked more my style. This is the Ninja Turtles ride. It's kind of like you're in these little weird airplanes. You don't go too fast. It's kind of nice. But I wasn't in the mood for any kind of tummy aches, right, SpongeBob? So we went to eat, and that was the best part of Mall of America. The Piata Italian street food. That was one of the best sandwiches I've had in a long, long time. What I really wanted to do was go back to the American Swedish Institute, which I hadn't been to since like 1992. Bless them, but they were open on a Sunday. Yahoo! Here I am with my little sister and my husband, Jiffy Jeff. I noticed the mirror and had to get one of those reflection photos before we entered the rest of the museum. Lovingly dubbed the Castle, the Turnblad Mansion was built between 1906 and 08. The mansion features 33 rooms, each room with a distinct style and decor. There are 11 tile stoves imported from Sweden, beautiful, and the Turnblads only lived there with their daughter a short time. We went to the dining room to our left first. Oh, this is just beautiful.
And the Turnblads never entertained. They were would-be, or he was a would-be society person. Never happened. 20 years after Mr. Turnblad died, there was actually an event held in this room. It was lunch, June 1953, and the guest of honor who sat at that end of the table was a gentleman with the initials DDE, Dwight David Eisenhower. So yes, the president has had lunch, but not in the lifetime of Turnblads.
Yeah, wow. Look at the carving on the fireplace. Many gifted artisans found work with the Turnblads. Look at the ceilings, the carvings. Look at the stove. Mrs. Turnblad was not a woman who wanted maids running around her house. They only briefly had a maid. That meant she did her own cooking and her own cleaning. Perhaps her daughter helped her, I'm not sure. But these rooms that you're looking at, they're so beautiful. It's just like a museum of handwork and painted ceilings, and they didn't fill them with furniture. They closed them off. Look at, even the temperature dial is attractive. But they closed them off. You'll see Christmas decorations going up, by the way. We were there in between the process of decorating for Christmas. I'm trying to imitate this pose. What do you think? It has been said that in 1929, upon touring the salon after the mansion was donated, Lillian remarked, "This is the second time I walked through this door since the building was built." Oh, my grandma, by the way, was named Lillian Torgerson. She was Norwegian. Mr. Swan J. Turnblad was the owner of the largest Swedish-speaking newspaper in the United States. Let's see if I can say this right. The Svenska Amerikanska Posten. It was located in downtown Minneapolis, and the Turnblads also had an apartment above that where it is said that they lived mostly. They didn't really live in this house a whole lot. They just kind of made it big and beautiful, and they donated it with some money. And here it is today, the American Swedish Institute. Oh my word, I think Paul Bunyan's been here. Looks like he left a bowl of oatmeal. We enter now the pantry, and I want you to see the little tiny refrigerator. That can't possibly have been the only one. I don't know. But anyway, this is the pantry. Look at all the storage, and then you go into the other room through here, and dishes were kept in here. There's a lot of storage. A lot of storage in this room for a family that never entertained. You know, I guess they were thinking about it when it would enter into the museum days. Ooh, time to go upstairs. Look at that wonderful, beautiful stained glass of the Middle Ages in Scandinavia. I assume it must be in Sweden. Oh, look, there's a knight too. I get distracted. Now let's look at this stained glass. Oh, yes. Medieval.
It's really something, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And on the other side of this doorway, there is another night with the twinkling of Christmas tree lights in it. This tree is all done. Most of the trees in the building had not been set up yet. It was only November 3rd during this visit. But what do we have here besides all these windows? Hey, Jeff, can you come here for a minute? Jeff, come here. Come here.
What, honey?
Come here.
Yes, honey. Oh, I can sit down.
Come here. No. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Mistletoe surprise. Oh, and look, a very uncomfortable but wonderful bench. There we two lovebirds are. It's our 40th wedding anniversary. Pause to enjoy this beautiful stained glass. Much of the second floor was closed off to us because it was being set up for the Christmas showcase. Here's my younger sister, Ruth. She lives in Missoula, Montana. She's a mountain girl. When Turnblad Mansion was built, the road that it was built on was called the Golden Mile. Actually, it was Park Avenue, but referred to as the Golden Mile because there were so many big mansions on it and everything. But now, it's not so golden, except for the Swedish Institute. It's still very golden and beautiful. Now, this is my favorite place in the whole museum. I've always been a theatrical person, and if I could have grown up with a stage, a ballroom, well, I would have been one happy kid. Here's a little bit of information about it if you'd like to pause. The ballroom sits on the 3rd floor. Can you imagine having a ballroom on the 3rd floor, everybody having to climb the stairs? But that's where it was. It was also where their daughter's room was. I don't think this was her bedroom, but when we looked in it, we found that it was a museum dedicated to Swedish hospitals and Swedish nurses. Look at, there's a nice little outfit. What if our nurses dressed up in those white outfits today? Wore those starched hats on their heads. It was fun to go to this room with my sister Ruth, who just received her PhD in nursing last year. Actually, that room is more of an exhibit room, not a museum. Oof to Oopsie Annie's being oopsie today for sure. I don't know if this was their daughter's room, but I like the ceiling. Look at the sunlight. This would be a nice bedroom to have. I'm in the North Saga room. This is really cool. It's got a strong Viking feel. Jiffy Jeff and Lily are getting into their inner child. Jiffy Jeff and Ruth. I'll have to
Oopsie Annie.
Oopsie Annie. I did one of those DNAs. I am 100% Scandinavian, mostly Norwegian. The Vikings are my ancestors. I don't know if many people know that Thor is actually a redhead. He had a good sense of humor. He was smart and strong. That looks like an ice giant, kind of, sort of. And yeah, the Viking myths that we have today are not always so accurate. They've been touched upon by Hollywood. They had to make Thor a blonde guy, but no, he's red hair and had a big full beard and blue eyes. That's one thing. He did have blue eyes. And he was a pretty good guy. He really was. If you want a hero, he was a good hero in all aspects. He didn't have a lot of flaws. I was trying to see if I could find him. I saw many little symbols of his hammer. Mjolnir, the hammer. And then when Christianity came, well, they kind of tried to wipe out and burn and destroy all the Norse sagas. And there's a lot we don't know because of that today. We still have our trolls, though. Look at them little buggers. They're pretty mean. I had to take a picture with them anyway. Look what else we found in the basement. Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
Oopsie Annie, reliving her childhood. Woohoo! There she goes.
Fun. There's no place, no stirrups.
There's no stirrups. Oh well.
Dangle my legs.
It's probably good though, because if there were, they'd
Oh,
probably be
yeah,
child
I'm
size.
riding the horse.
You're going off to
Got
the
the
fields.
horse. It's all painted for the festival. That's a bad Scandinavian accent, Joe. Oh, it's a long ride. I loved the stove in the children's playroom. It has these little characters. They look like little elves or something. And then there's Thor. Boy, there he is. Got his hammer Mjolnir. The children's playroom had all kinds of wonderful interactive toys, and the wall had just been done by an artist, more of a Minnesotan scene, you know, American. There's a bison and wolves, and look at Saloon, definitely Minnesota. There's the bison. And just really cute interactive items. There was hand puppets. There was a couple there with their children, and I don't know if I weirded them out or not. My inner child sure came out to play. Swan and Christina Turnblad came to this country as children from Sweden. They were immigrants who, after marrying, had daughter Lillian. They found success with the newspaper business, and they built a legacy in the form of a mansion, the Turnblad Mansion, that we can all enjoy today. It is with heartfelt gratitude that I thank them and the good people who run the museum to this day. Love all life around you, be inspired, be grateful, birth joy, and until next time, mwah, goodbye, it's Oopsie Annie signing off.